For today's first five, I just want to hit on the overarching idea that in the 2020 elections, the presidential election coming up next year, the single most important issue, overarching issue, is simply what is the identity of America? I know I've talked many times in this show about the importance of a variety of issues. We talk about border security and immigration policy and tax policy and refugee policy and United Nations and our relation to them and free markets versus socialism. And all of those are underlying issues that will be on people's minds in 2020. But the overarching issue that America needs to think about, address, and answer correctly is the question, really, what does America mean? What is the identity of America? Because as you know, I think if you listen to the show very often, you must know, I do this show to speak up for the extraordinary and unique greatness of America. The point of doing my show is to try to lay out the arguments, to tell the history, to explain the ideas in the founding of America, all leading to the point that America's extraordinary position in the world as the world's safest, freest, most prosperous, most successful country, the country literally every refugee who needs to leave their home country and go somewhere, so many, the majority of them would like to come to America. And there's a reason for America's unique greatness. And the reason is the ideas in the founding of our country, the founding in the Declaration, as spelled out in the Declaration of Independence and later embellished and developed in the Constitution. Those founding ideas are what the difference is that makes America great. One of the core ideas in the founding of America is that individuals, each of us, have the right to live in freedom. We have the right, God-given, not given by the government or any other entity, God-given right to live our lives pursuing liberty, pursuing our version of life, liberty, and happiness. We have the right to have a government. We're founded on the idea the government exists to protect those rights, to protect individuals in their God-given freedoms, and their freedoms too. And that's why we have all those freedoms spelled out in the Bill of Rights, especially the First Amendment. We have the right to live in freedom, which includes freedom of speech and religion and assembly. And those freedoms, all the ideas, the founding idea of America is literally the number one issue in the 2020 elections, because that very freedom, the very idea of what America is under assault today, not externally, not from someone trying to invade our borders, although we do have that issue too, but internally in America. We have a growing movement on the American left, the radical left, that simply does not like those founding core ideas, the ideas that we have God-given rights, and also simply the idea, because we're a country based on Judeo-Christian values, the idea that the concept of truth exists. Or to say it more precisely, that truth itself exists. Much of the American left is pushing the argument on issue after issue after issue that there's no such thing as truth, there's no such thing as right or wrong, there's no such thing as moral, not moral, that every issue on the planet, the economic systems, the political systems, everything is just a matter of competing ideologies, and they all are equally morally equivalent. We have the moral equivalency of all ideas as the premise of the American left. We are losing in our American political conversation the concept that truth exists, and that we are, as free people in this country, not only permitted to, but we have an obligation as the patriots of this generation to stand up for those ideas, to articulate them, to explain them, to apply them to the issues of our time. So today, on this Deep Dive Monday, I'm going to dive into the question of what is the meaning and identity of America, and in particular, to try to lay out the two very different versions of what it means, what America means in this time, because that is really what's on the ballot in 2020. And that, my friends, is today's first five.